Libbie Sonnier. I'm the Executive Director of the Louisiana Policy Institute for Children. So really with this work is about early childhood systems as a whole. What we've seen in the last few years with early care and education is a real momentum about really understanding what quality looks like when you go into a child care center, what children need. I mean, we sit on 50 years of research at any given point about what children need. And we've really built a business case for early care and education. Oftentimes as policymakers do things, what they do is they speak for families and they speak for children. And why would we do that when we can go directly to the source, and that families could feel so valued that they have power to change the system and to really change the state that their children are living in? I've never met a family that didn't want better for their children. They might not know how. And we're going to figure out the how together. That's what this is about. The vision is that we have a Louisiana where children thrive, and we have families that are thriving, not just surviving. What we have right now is a disjointed system where children and families can't access all the pieces and puzzles of what they need. And what we really envision is a Louisiana that's unified, that's able to really coalesce around children, and that they are so valuable that we're going to make sure that they have what they need, and we're also going to be able to fund it and implement it in a way that there's quality for children. Some of the things that we don't have right now, we don't have unified data systems. We don't have unified systems that talk to each other. So you might have programs in one agency and different programs in another, and in each agency you have to fill out paperwork and you have to be eligible for XYZ. So we don't even have systems at a data level that talk to each other. We don't have programs that talk to each other. And so what the hope is for mamas and daddies and families is that there's a one-stop kind of shop of go-to places that you can get what you need. And if we know you're eligible, let's say for child care assistance, that you may also be eligible for Medicaid, or you know that your child is really struggling behaviorally, and that one-stop place can help you connect to some behavioral support services so that behavior is not getting in the way of a child learning. Or maybe they're fragile with their health, and that's not getting in the way of them learning and being able to be successful. You know, my real dream is that when somebody asks me how the children are doing in Louisiana, I can say the children are doing well. I can't say that right now. But I think with this initiative, we're going to be able to say the children are doing well. And we'll be able to see it in 3 and 5 and 10 years, because this collective whole, we're listening to the people that are really doing the work at the end of the day. So what Go Far Louisiana is going to allow us to do is have narratives just like this, to have narratives that we can share from families about what they actually need, but also data. Let's have data about what families need, because I can go talk to a legislator and they say, well, I don't need XYZ in my district. And what we can go back and say is, you know, we have people from your district that are saying that this is what they need. They need to access to quality health care. They need access to mental health supports and services. They need access to housing and food stability. And when you tell the story from the people that really need the help, and they don't always look like what you think they look like, it makes people pay attention. What we've learned in our work at Louisiana Policy Institute for Children is data has helped us tell the story. It's helped us give us the narrative. But we need the context too. And live people give the context to the narrative, the data, and the story. And oftentimes what we see with elected officials is they may want to do better, but they don't know how either. And we've got to be able to educate them about the electorate, the people that are electing them, and that they answer to the people, and that our people will not tolerate being last anymore. We just won't tolerate it. We're not going to have a thriving Louisiana if our children and our families aren't thriving. We're not going to have a thriving economy. We just won't have the state that we want without supporting little people and their families.
What type of sustainable practices are you seeing that are being implemented?
So I think there's a few things. One is that the city of New Orleans back in 2017 used their own city money to invest in their own children. And so we know a budget of a city, of a parish, of a state is really the value of what people believe in. It's really a value proposition of what you're going to fund. And so what we saw in New Orleans is that children are valuable. And they started with a $750,000 initial investment. and grew what's now the City Seats program. And over the years, that grew from 750,000 to $1 million to $3 million. And then on April 30th, 2022, City of New Orleans stood up and said yes for children in a massive way. They said, we believe so heartedly that we need to invest in these little people that we're going to pass a millage for, property owners to say $21 million a year for 20 years to invest in young children. And then at the state level, what we've done is we have an early childhood education fund that when there's enough money in there, there's a dollar for dollar match for when locals do that. And so this puts the roadmap for the rest of the state, I would say the country, because it's the only place in the country that's investing in infants and toddlers this way with local dollars. But it's saying, Louisiana, we're coming for the rest of these babies. And this is how we do it. One of the things that we work with continually is really about early care and education. But what we're also very clear on is that we need wraparound services and supports. And so if I think about what New Orleans is doing with those city seats, they have mental health specialists. They have people that work with families. They're able to connect these families that are, accessing these city seats program to supports and services again that make healthy families. And that's what we want for the rest of Louisiana. And there's a lot of inequity in the state. And so we need to do it in an equitable way to make sure those who really need the supports and services have access to it. And then we have to figure out how to scale that up. And scaling that is where the devil's in the details, but we can do it. There's nothing that we can come up with that's not unfigure-outable. We can do that. Children deserve it, and we're just wasting them, and we're not gonna waste them anymore. The people in this initiative are saying we're tired of it, we're gonna stop it, let's fix. And so we're gonna fix. I'm Libbie, go far, Louisiana.